It's that special time of year, and I watched a special holiday movie that came out a couple days ago on HBO Max. I watched 8-Bit Christmas. What did I think about it? We'll talk about that after this.
If you want more gaming and collecting content, don't forget to subscribe to stay in the know.
So I saw the trailer for 8-Bit Christmas a couple weeks ago, and I got kind of excited. It's like, okay, it's like a whole new Christmas story for a new generation. Kind of like a Christmas story for us 90s kids or 80s kids. We can go, okay, the NES was our BB gun. Instead of Ralphie, we have Neil Patrick Harris being a young kid at 11 in 1988 or 87, I think it is, trying to get an NES.
Now you're playing with power.
I didn't go in there with high expectations, but I could say right off the bat, I enjoyed the movie. But there is some issues. I'm going to go into the pros first. I'll talk about the cons, and then I'll go into more pros. I'm going to do the whole meat sandwich when you do critiquing. Also, I'm not going to try to do any spoilers here, too. So I don't want to, ruin the movie for you. I might talk blatantly, but it'll be spoiler-free for the most part.
Every kid has that one gift they want more than anything for Christmas. This is the story of mine, Nintendo.
The cast is great. Neil Patrick Harris was awesome, and all the kids worked really well together. The cast had real chemistry. There was actually a lot of funny bits and a lot of little nods to other movies. And that's from it. Now the trailer pretty much summed up the movie. It's about a kid's journey, or multiple kids' journey, trying to get the most beloved system, the NES. Now, I did my own Christmas special a couple of years ago called The Greatest Gift, where I talk about the NES, and I felt a kindred spirit with this movie because that is probably my greatest gift, and is the gift I can look back and go, oh yeah, that's awesome. I got a car for Christmas, but the car didn't last as long as the NES. The script was actually pretty clever. I think they got the spirit of the 80s pretty well, and I like the fact he had to keep changing his story just a little bit to make it more PC. Big pro about this movie, it's PG. It's family friendly. There's nothing really to get upset about. Moments in the movie where it kind of more alludes to the 90s, where the video game violence, not that it wasn't in the 80s, but nothing like it was in the 90s. But there was a moment in there why it's so hard to get an NES in the town. It feels very much like a cross between Goonies and A Christmas Story. So, I mean, that was pretty awesome, honestly, kind of rolling 80s movies in one and making a homage to 80s movies, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know why they got Nintendo to license the Nintendo Entertainment System, but they didn't get them to do any first-party games. No first-party games are shown at all, not even box art. In fact, Super Mario Bros. I think was only mentioned once in the movie, not even shown. They do show Rampage. They do show Paperboy. But here is the biggest thing. I actually kind of flipped out when I saw this, and here's a clip of my wife recorded me last night.
This is not funny. Hit the Ice was not on the NES. But I think Trog came out later. Those boxes are close, but not the same.
Most of the box art was similar, but not accurate. One, they had Tengen games, like the Unlicensed Gauntlet.
But that's the unlicensed Gauntlet, not the licensed Gauntlet.
There was one Tengen game. I have no idea what it was.
I have no idea what that is. That is a Tengen game. It would not be at a normal retail store.
Kid Icarus, Mario Brothers, Pinball. Where are the first-party NES games?
And the thing is that there's no first party. They're all third party.
I believe this was another game that was on the wall, High Speed. This didn't come out till 1990 or 1991, but it was shown on the wall. Remember, this was 1988, and this was another one that was on the wall, Smash TV, and it didn't come out till 1990. Joust was actually on the game wall. I have to look if HAL was actually labeled on there, because some of the box art was pretty convincing. They even had, I think, the black seal of approval. Wizard of War wasn't even released on the NES. This was 1988. There was a shortage of Super Mario Bros. 2. They could have talked about that. It was really weird. And the NES was close to his design. Plus, it was 88 or 87. It would be the gray gun, not the orange gun. Orange gun, I think, happened to like 89. Make my day, punk. So it was kind of weird discrepancies here and there. Maybe they wanted the orange gun so it's not so realistic. You don't want to get lightened to death, I guess. Now this is the deluxe set with good old Rob here. Now they have a wannabe Rob. That whole scene with the discrepancies with the boxes. And I was like, what's going on here? Is that supposed to be Rob? This is 1988. Wasn't Rob starting to get phased out at that time? Kind of reminds me of the whole Kevin scene where the furnace talks to Kevin, but the NES is enticing him to play, but it's supposed to be Rob, and it didn't look like Rob. It kind of looked like Rob's third cousin removed. They could have focused on Rob too, it would have been kind of cool, but they didn't. Just a little homage to him maybe, or a little spoof on him.
That's not Rob. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Because of the wall, it did kind of take you out of the moment. His belief was kind of suspended, going, whoa, hold on. That wasn't there. That wasn't there. Now, for the average, kid in the 80s or 90s looking at this stuff, they're going to miss that. They might go, oh, okay, look all the box art. That's really cool. But if you are a retro collector or a retro gaming enthusiast, especially an NES collector or NES fan, you're definitely going to notice that these games were not all of them, but most of them were not accurate to the time period. One subplot was the Power Glove. It was amazing that this rich kid had the Power Glove. Well, they didn't hold back any punches and admitted this thing was bad, real bad. So there's a scene with the Power Glove, and he's playing the game, but it's not a game ever released. I think it was called Power Fist. They made up a game. I don't know why, but they could have done Double Dragon in, Double Dragon versus mode and had him do the Power Glove, and she still could have played on the controller and still had the same outcome. Instead, they picked out a fake game, and I'm not sure why. Hey, you forgot the Power Glove. There's a lot of bait and switch. So in the trailer, they talked about this throat punch.
One woman punched her grandma right in the throat. Same family, too.
The spoiler I'm going to give, it was not for the NES, because we're all kind of going, the NES wasn't really rare at that time. No, it was actually Cabbage Patch Dolls or Cabbage Patch Kids. The sister wants one of these, so there's a little subplot with that. Here's the biggest positive. It had a great message. I enjoyed it, even with the little weird discrepancies they had. I had a lot of fun, heartfelt moments in it, and moments that made me go, oh, I didn't see that coming, especially the end. It could be a classic for the future where you can come back and rewatch it. The storytelling is awesome. And there's a lot of red herrings in the film. Like, oh, this is where he gets his NES. Oh, this is where he gets his NES. It's a really fun film overall. It's a family film. We don't have a lot of those these days. And it did take me back to the 80s, the hype of Nintendo. Even it was exaggerated, which was awesome because this is his own recollection. Could be a reason why the box art wasn't 100% accurate, because what he remembers. Because those rose-petal glasses sometimes get in our way. They remember things a lot differently than they actually transpired. Overall, I enjoyed the film, and I recommend you watching 8-Bit Christmas. Maybe there'll be a sequel where we talk about 16-bit Christmas. Do a movie about the console war like this, it'd be awesome.
Now you're playing with power.
Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have fun. Go game. Christmas is around the corner, and I'll be releasing my own Christmas special. You can watch my other Christmas specials dating back 4, 5, 6 years ago. Merry, Merry Early Christmas. Watch 8-Bit Christmas.